E-waste, otherwise known as electronic waste, accounts for between 2 and 5% of the world's solid waste, with over 70% of that being hazardous waste that ends up in a landfill. Some of this waste ends up in Ghana at a site called Agbogbloshie. This site has also been named Sodom and Gomorrah after two condemned biblical cities.
Agbogbloshie is a large e-waste site located outside the city of Accra. Large amounts of electronic home appliances and automobile waste gets dumped there every year, with some news sites and NGO claiming that that number is in the millions of tons. Although these sites and NGOs claim that the waste is from America and Europe, the United Nations Environmental Programme says that 85% of the e-waste is from Ghana and West Africa.
The site receives mobile phones, fridges and automobiles, which are taken apart for the precious metals and rare earths inside. For example, the copper wiring found in the USB cables and car parts are bundled together and the outside insulation is burnt off, meaning the precious wire inside can be sold. This work is unsafe as dangerous fumes are emitted, most of which are from monster hybrid plastics and unrecyclable plastic used in electronics and car parts. Workers also burn tyres from old cars to collect the steel used inside.
This work is incredibly damaging to the people that live and work in and around Agbogbloshie. The workers often inhale lead, cadmium, dioxins, furans, and brominated flame retardants. This can cause chronic nausea, headaches, and chest and respiratory problems. There is also evidence that it inhibits the development of the nervous systems, the reproductive systems, and the brains of young children that live and work around the site.
Severe damage is also seen in the environment. Greenpeace lab tests found that the chemical concentrations in the soil were at 100 times more than the allowable amount. It has affected the coral lagoon opposite the site, with the water being unsafe for contact due to the levels of bacteria and pollution.
But it's not just harmful for those who live there. People who send their waste there can also be affected. In 2009, a group of journalism students bought a drive for $40, containing information about deals between the Pentagon, the Department of Homeland Security, and a military contractor known as Northrop Grumman. Drives such as these are found daily by workers who use the personal and private information to extort people.
But the question that should be asked:
is e-waste in Ghana ethical?
The waste is shipped to Ghana illegally. The Environmental Agency clamped down investigating trucks and shipping containers and checking manifests for the hazardous materials. In 2014, a man was charged for shipping 46 tonnes of e-waste over to Africa illegally, the first to be charged with this offence. He stood to make $8,000 per container.
This illegal and profitable shipping of e-waste, although damaging to the workers, children and environment, provides an income and work for those in a country where this can be hard to come by. Hundreds of workers migrate to Agbogbloshie as they know they can find an easy living there. The workers willingly put their lives at risk dismantling electronics and automobiles filled with dangerous chemicals and materials so they can feed their families.
There are many companies that work worldwide to safely dispose of e-waste. In Britain, companies such as Firegreen, based in Manchester, use equipment to carefully break down the electronics, extract the useful materials, recover and refurbish what they can, and then sell the usable parts.
This safe and easy way to recycle is far more ethical than shipping the waste to Ghana. The shipping containers and trucks are uncontrolled and contain dangerous materials that damage the environment and the people who live there. Using recycling companies located globally would be a far better option for the disposal of e-waste.
From the research and evidence provided, it is clear that the e-waste situation in Ghana is unethical. There is severe and irreversible damage being done to the workers and their children, and the environment.
The government in Ghana seem to share these views, as they have started to demolish the site and move the residents away. The AMA, or Accra Metropolitan Assembly, is aiming to tear down illegal structures to pave the way for tomato farmers to trade their wares. For many, this is seen as a better and safer use of the land.
Officials in Ghana have also taken action to ensure the safer disposal of e-waste. In February 2018, the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and the Environmental Protection Agency launched official guidelines to create an innovative strategy for the sustainable management of e-waste. The guidelines would be reducing the harm done to workers in the industry as well as the environment.
However, taking this industry away and using more ethical and environmentally friendly options will damage the livelihood of the workers, as they will lose their form of income and their place to live. This could push them to other cities in West Africa to find work and other dangerous forms of living.
In conclusion, ethics in e-waste is a complicated matter. There are positives and negatives to the dangerous work being done at Agbogbloshie, and only a controlled plan of action could start to lessen the damage done to the workers, their children, and the environment.